Everyone in the kingdom knew one rule: never open the book beneath the castle, not because it was cursed, not because it was dangerous, but because the last person who opened it came back speaking a language no one had ever heard before. Then he pointed at the prince and started screaming. 20 years later, that prince became a knight, and on the night the old king died, he heard something whispering from under the castle floor. His name, Kael. At first he thought it was the wind. Then it whispered again. Kael. This time every candle in the hallway burned blue. Kael followed the voice down a staircase that had been sealed since he was a child. At the bottom he found a stone door with no handle, only a warning carved into it. If you are reading this, the kingdom has already fallen. Kael stepped back. Behind him something moved in the dark. A knight in rusted armor crawled from the shadows, dragging a broken sword. Kael raised his blade, but the thing did not attack. It pointed at the door and whispered, "Open it before you become him." Then it collapsed into dust. Kael should have run. Instead, he placed his hand on the door. The stone cracked open. Inside was a room that should not have existed. There were no walls, no ceiling, only stars. Thousands of them spinning slowly around a black book floating in the center. The book was chained shut with golden locks, but as Kael stepped closer, the locks opened one by one. Click, click, click. The final lock dropped, and the book opened. At first, the pages were empty. Then ink spread across them like blood and water. One sentence appeared. "You waited too long." The room began to shake. The stars above him went out, one by one, until only a single red moon remained. Then the pages ripped open, and a dragon's eye stared through the book. It was massive, ancient, and terrified. Kael gripped his sword. The dragon spoke first. "Do not take the crown." Kael froze. "What crown?" The dragon's eye narrowed. "The one they will offer you at sunrise." Before Kael could answer, the book pulled him in. The world folded. The stars screamed. And suddenly, Kael was standing in the middle of his kingdom. But it was not the kingdom he knew. The towers were broken. The rivers were black. The sky was burning, and every person in the city had been turned to stone. They were all kneeling, not to the king, not to the gods, to him. Kael stumbled backward. "No." Then he saw the throne. It stood at the center of the ruined city, built from dragon bones and melted crowns. And sitting on it was Kael, older, colder, wearing a crown made of black fire. The older Kael smiled. "You finally found the book." Kael raised his sword. "What are you?" The king on the throne leaned forward. "I am what you become when you believe power can save people." The dragon landed behind him, wounded and chained. Kael looked at it. The same dragon from the book. Only now its wings were torn. Its golden eyes were fading. The older Kael stood. "When the kingdom started dying, they begged me to save it. So I did what any hero would do." He spread his arms. "I took control." The stone people began whispering, all of them at once. "Long live the king." Kael felt sick. This is not saving them. The older version of him smiled. "No, but it stopped them from leaving." Then the dragon lifted its head and spoke with the last of its strength. "You sent the book back because there was still one moment you could change." Kael turned to it. What moment? The ruined world began to crack. The red moon split in half. The older Kael screamed as shadows poured from his crown. The dragon roared. "Sunrise! When they offer you the crown..." The world collapsed. Kael woke up on the floor beneath the castle, gasping for air. The black book was closed in front of him, but now the cover had changed. The old warning was gone. In its place were 4 words burned in gold. "The crown remembers you." Then the bells rang. Sunrise. Kael ran to the throne room. The nobles were waiting. The guards were waiting. The entire kingdom was waiting. At the top of the steps stood the queen, holding a crown on a velvet pillow. She smiled. "Kael, last night the king named you his heir." The room erupted in cheers. Kael stared at the crown. It looked nothing like the one from his vision. This one was gold, beautiful, holy. Then he heard it, a whisper from deep below the castle. The dragon. Say no. Kael opened his mouth, but before he could speak, the crown pulsed once, like a heartbeat, and every candle in the throne room burned blue. The queen's smile faded, the nobles went silent, and somewhere under the floor, the black book opened by itself.